my name is Samantha, and tonight my mom and I are watching Season 4, Episode 9 of Roswell, New Mexico. I will have our playlists for Seasons 2, 3, and 4 linked in the description. We start each of our videos with a discussion portion, which today includes my official guess for what the lighting is. But if you want to get right ahead to the reaction, it starts at this timestamp right here. So, Mom, I'm not going to bury the lead. I'm going to start with this point of the discussion.
All right.
I think that the alighting is the calling down of a ship from Oasis to Earth. Well, okay, let me get to the 4 reasons why I think the alighting is the arrival of a ship to Earth. Number 1, Clyde says there was never a ship to be found. That Michael assumed that Clyde was looking for a ship, but he says, actually, I was looking for something much smaller, being the Bible and the glasses. That, according to Clyde at least, Nora did not build a ship. Now, is that the case, do we think? Well, I think there are 2 reasons, basically, for why Nora did not actually build a ship. We know she was working on something, but I think it was not a ship. Because, number 1, Nora would have had to, in the middle of a small desert town in the 1940s, have gathered the supplies somehow to build a ship that was, 1, big enough for at least 7 people, being their triad plus the 4 kids to go back, plus a ship that is capable of traveling long distances in space, which, and indulge me here a second, you cannot, and I'll use this to demonstrate, you cannot, at least from Earth, just fly through space, point A to point B, to another planet that has evolved intelligent life. It's too far away, as far as we know. So, because Michael was even, or Max even asked Michael, is Alex going to be up for a decades-long, one-way space travel? Which, and I think Michael should have brought up, the theory of wormhole jumping, which is a theory, but is based in science, of how you travel long distances through space, which is basically you have point A, you have point B. It is way too far. Even if you could travel fast enough to approach the speed of light, it would take too long. So you have to then wormhole jump, which is literally bending time and space so that now the point A and point B are now this far apart.
Right.
Instead of this far apart. Which honestly, I think Michael should have known. But, so Nora would then have to make a ship that is big enough and capable of space travel and capable of wormhole jumping. I don't think she did that. Now, could a ship made of alien glass do that? I'm sure it could. But where is alien glass does not grow on trees? Now, can she take regular glass and make it into alien glass? Enough of it? Maybe. But I don't think that she did. Especially because Clyde says there was never a ship. Maybe he's wrong, but it would have been really hard for her to do that. Point number 4, which I think is the biggest point for my theory. Back to the end of season 1, Noah is talking with Max about the alighting. He says, we are from a war-torn planet, and whoever wins, they'd never leave you here. They may not come for you this year or next year, but they will come for you. They will come here. They will come here. As in, at some point, triggered by whatever thing, whether it's oh, we have won, now we're going to somehow find Earth and, our people. Or the alighting, which may involve a calling out to, but I think culminates in a ship coming down to Earth. That's what I think the alighting is.
And what is Liz's?
She is some step in that. There's apparently some science involved in
wormholing.
Well, but that would take place after, that's part of the travel itself. But yeah, that would how you create a wormhole, I have no idea. It's theoretical, but it is a scientific theory. Because we're like, we can't prove it, but we're like, theoretically, this is how you would travel long distances through space. And honestly, like, it has to be, it cannot be just you fly real fast because space is too big.
It's alien travel, so
yeah, you have to have some sort of science fiction sounding method
to make the time shorter,
such as wormhole jumping that you can't do with a regular. It's even our understanding of that theory. A wormhole would be very unstable, and like actually surviving a trip through the wormhole, not easy. But obviously, they got here somehow. They know how to travel long distances in space. They have figured that out. But the point is, then you initiate whatever the ceremony is. The ship could be there in 15 minutes. Is there a part of my theory that you're disagreeing with, or you have a question related to how this happens?
Maybe both.
Okay. Does my theory give you a theory?
No.
Okay. So,
I suppose it's a possibility, and I'm just here trying to pull it apart,
which is fine.
Right.
It's not a perfect theory.
Yeah.
But that's my guess. I think the alighting culminates in the arrival of a ship.
Possible.
Okay. If it is the case that they don't need their own ship, that they don't need the theoretical ship that Nora may or may not have built, if there is a ship coming, why would Jones tell them to gather fruit, which is fuel for a ship, and this star map for a ship, if they don't need one?
Well,
but that might explain why Clyde then burned those things, because they're not necessary.
And he thinks Mr. Jones is not?
Well, because we had been, and I think it's the case, or we had at least assumed, or Teska wanted them to assume, that Jones gave her some extra information. But maybe he also gave Clyde extra information. To be like, I'm going to tell them that this is the plan, but really, you, as my most loyal subject, follower, person,
on the side,
I'm going to tell you, go along with it, but then really, just burn it, because that's not the real plan, and then whatever he tells them is the real plan.
Anything's possible.
But it explains why Clyde would burn that stuff if it's not really necessary. However...
No, it doesn't. Why would he, if it's not necessary, why even burn it? Why go through the act of burning something?
It's more dramatic to burn it, though.
Yeah.
It's more dramatic. And gives the audience more questions.
Well.
However, what I would want the explanation to be for whatever Clyde is actually now doing, I want it to be satisfying enough that we haven't just thrown out the entire first half of the season of what we thought was happening. If there are clues hidden throughout the episodes that we missed because we weren't looking for them of Clyde's true intentions, I like a twist. I like a surprise. I don't like to feel like I've been tricked or fooled. Yeah. So I want that if this is the case, I want whatever the explanation is to be satisfying. Now on to other topics. So the pod that it turns out Shivani has, that she says they got from Correas. Presumably, that pod belonged to one of the other triad. Whose pod was it? And was it cracked while they were in it? I mean, I don't know how else it would have gotten cracked, but maybe it was completely
Why
separate.
does she only have one?
Well, that's a good point too, because that means they were not all three in the same place. Because otherwise, she'd just have taken all three. But if the pod was cracked, well, one of them was in it. We know that the pod that Noah was in after the crash was, I don't know if it was cracked technically, but it was defective in some way, and that harmed him. It didn't sustain him. Like he looked all weird. I'll try and put a picture of it here. It didn't do what it was supposed to because it was defective in some way. So has one of the triad been in a defective pod? If it is one of the three triad, which unless it's another pod, it seems like it's one of the three of them. My guess would be Clyde. But we haven't seen anything necessarily obvious yet as to why it's him. I chose him as like the most, because like we're learning new things about Tesca, like she was messed with. Bonnie seems genuine nice on our side. So Clyde as the one who's like a little bit out of it. Maybe he was in the defective pod. Also, about Clyde, what is Clyde's special ability? Because if Tesca is a shapeshifter and Bonnie can take people's powers, what is Clyde's specialty? Because I don't think we haven't seen that. That might be relevant to what he is planning on doing. And Bonnie should know what it is, but I don't know that they would think to ask her. More about Clyde. Clyde knows about Rosa, which could be explained because maybe Jones knew about Rosa. Like, I don't know if he knows for sure. I don't remember that Rosa had died and then been brought back to life and then has alien abilities. I don't know if Jones knows that. The other person who knows that is Shivani. So, and this is sort of conspiracy theory. Is it possible Clyde and Shivani are working together? And I don't think they've been like working together from the beginning, but could one of them have found out about the other one and then teamed up? Is my question.
To what end?
To something that they think would be mutually beneficial. That, like, I'm going to help you with this and you help me with this. Well, and Shivani has now just superpowered Liz's brain, which would be helpful to both of them, at least theoretically. Clyde wants her for something. So, it's a bit of a stretch, but the last point is a question about Maria. I'm wondering if there is any more to the message that Maria's mother, like, you know, the go here thing with her hand, like, as she was dying, of, like, she wanted Maria to find something out, which did lead them to the fruit tree, but I feel like they would have found that anyway, because they were there for Dallas's memories, and it's basically part of Dallas's memory as well. So they didn't really need that part from Maria. So I'm wondering if there's more to that, or if that's just, there's nothing more to that. Because, like, we thought we were continuing that storyline with all the signs Maria's been getting, but as it turns out, that is from Alex rather than her mother. So are we going back to the mother storyline, or no, is my question. All right, so then we'll see if any of my theories were correct, but let's start this episode.
She's barely breathing. Are you sure you know what you're doing?
No, I got no idea, but I got the alien doc in my ear. Grab it.
How do they know about any of this? They, like, was Liz able to alert them somehow?
Obviously, they were passed out for quite a bit of time.
Well, 5 minutes, 5 hours, we don't know.
And look at that, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of them.
Everyone is there.
Everyone
we
is
finally have
there.
a group meeting. We're only 30 seconds in. Maybe they explain. How do they know about this?
Do we need one for Shivani too?
No, they kept her incinerated. She's not as bad. Liz must have taken the brunt of that mess.
Plenty.
Even though she technically had, like, was it just dropped closer to Liz? Like, I don't know if that should be the case. Okay.
And what did they say about Shivani?
They said she's okay, basically. They said she didn't get as much. They presume. But she had a dose
But she
previous.
had a dose previous.
So I don't know if that should be the case, but okay.
If anyone can reach her in there, it's me. We need answers.
That makes sense.
You coming? No, I think you got it. I gotta make a phone call.
To who? To who?
You ready for this?
How weird is this gonna be? Are they gonna go through those people? Okay, they're... Oh! This is not polite.
Supposed to see them.
Did she get...
No, it's like a cowboy on Elm Street in there. I got shot and...
What about Max? Why isn't he waking up?
Oh, God. Max got taken.
This is weird. Okay, I'm on board for weird stuff, but this I don't get.
They're not supposed to be seen. When they go
Well,
into a mind, they've never been seen
correct.
by other people.
I-
By what's happening.
I have questions on the setup for this episode. I can understand how what should be down here is now at regular level because of the alien mist stuff.
Oh.
It sort of is balancing her
okay.
mind out, but it's also obviously affecting what can happen, which I don't know why or how it should, but I think we need to let them explain.
Surprise!
10 years, Sheriff.
This is weird.
It's Max.
Hey.
He's been kidnapped.
Yeah, technically, yeah, kind of. Sherry Appleby, oh my god.
It's time to call a doctor, because right now it might as well be Sanders working on them.
I already called him.
Hey, buddy.
Keith, you're back in Roswell?
Very quickly.
Here, I'll show you to the lab.
Rosa knows her way around Deep Sky. Or no, this isn't. But this is. They brought her to Deep Sky, or this is still Shivani's lab. I mean, my guess is Deep Sky, but okay.
It would make more sense if it were another room in.
Well, yeah, I
Shivani's
thought
lab.
they were in Shivani's lab, but maybe they're not. But why would you waste time traveling to a different medical site? I don't know.
Liz! Bringing Kyle. This is Kyle.
Oh, God.
I wish I had a second to afford this up, but I don't. Okay.
So are we going cave? Are we going quicksand? Where are we headed?
So you'll die if you don't make the right choice.
Which is surrender.
Oh.
Don't look so surprised.
Again, I like the twist, but I don't get it. So, does Allie show up in this Wild West town to help her figure it out? Or does Allie show up because she gets notified that her wife is, who knows? Like, I don't think she's in a coma, but does someone like, oh, maybe we should call Shivani's wife now that she's whatever? And that's how she shows up? I mean, maybe both, but because we had talked about how is Allie the only way of solving the Shivani problem? That I think still seems likely, but
Hey.
okay, this
How's it
is
going?
Deep Sky. Okay.
Well, the drug has latched onto Liz's nerve receptors.
Liz, she's got her boyfriend. You've got your boyfriend. I'm gonna go get my boyfriend.
Keith is not my boyfriend. Okay, people hug when they're sad.
You stepped outside to make a call, and 30 minutes later, he'd swooped in. So either Dr. Feelgood came to town with you, or did you develop email powers?
Or Keith came yesterday.
Okay, I was wondering. I was like, he got there a little fast, but okay.
Max jumped into a mindscape after the woman he loves. The least I can do is jump into a sinkhole to save my soulmate.
That's what I'm
Remember
saying.
What happened the last time?
But I don't know if...
What? A
Has he
DFA?
tried Max's blood yet? Liz said Bonnie's virus mutating the DNA, so if it's still in him, maybe we can re-engineer it to bolster the steroids.
Here you go,
Why are you
baby.
still standing here? Go.
I want to know why there are two of me. You really need to conjure me to tell you that in most big choices in life we're of two minds?
How do I wake up? Simple. Follow the path. Figure out what it is that you don't want to confront.
I do also like that in this Liz versus Liz, we also have original Liz to help guide her.
I love that she's here.
Yeah. And she's doing great.
Whatever dark truth she's carrying, you're gonna have to face eventually. I disagree. Come on, ride with me.
I do hope that we see more of Shiri. Because, I mean, that was wonderful, but I want more.
That was a wonderful scene.
Yeah.
Without me, you'll be too scared to protect him.
Scared of what exactly?
The other shoe to drop. Right now, you're just refusing to face it. See you at high noon.
And she takes Rosa? Ah, this is Trixie. I still don't love it, though.
She wasn't just my teacher, she was my hero. And when Jones came for her, I did nothing.
You were 7!
Like a coward.
You were 7 years old.
Thank
I could
you.
have at least done something.
Stop trying to convince yourself that you're less than what you are, Isabel. You're a warrior.
I like that those two are close now.
Yeah, she may think you are the key to our greatness, but you know, deep down, you are our biggest obstacle to it.
This is an opportunity for Max to work through his side of these issues as well.
I made the mistake of thinking I could face her alone. I was wrong.
Another group meeting.
This
That's what we
ring
needed.
represents family. And that's because you guys are the best part of me. Fire, grit, heart, brain, conscience. Together we're more powerful than she ever will be.
I like that Sanders is part of the
I
family.
believe that more than anything.
All right, Sanders.
Well, y'all are just a bunch of coffee boilers.
Oh! No! Rude! I don't want to see this. Okay, yes I do. Not dead though, so
Bastard's been his maker.
I don't think so, baby. Turn around.
The other shoe?
No? What is the other shoe? I feel like I'm usually better with metaphor. I don't know what's happening.
Find something to restrain her.
That works. Well, injector, come on, we haven't done that yet, right?
You finished splicing the alien virus to the steroids yet? Yeah, but I'd like to test it first.
No, there's no time doing now.
Hey!
Move, now!
Ooh.
It's getting worse.
Could maybe the injection be what brought Allie to her to help?
I know what I'm scared of.
Saying
It's time to
yes.
face her.
That drug that you created.
She's killing me, I know. Listen to me.
Ask me again.
Everything she said is a lie and I'm gonna get us out of here.
She has a weakness. She doesn't want to admit it, but she believes in us. Just like I do.
That's it, isn't it?
Your mind's her poison.
You're mine. You want me to admit why I couldn't say yes.
What's the other shoe, Elizabeth?
Her science.
Me. I'm afraid of myself. I said no to Max because I am terrified of building a perfect life with him, only to have it torn away from me forever. And like Clyde, the danger will never stop. The only way to save them is to give in to the drug. Surrender to me. The brain damage we would have, the memory loss, the nerve degeneration, we could lose ourselves entirely.
But allowing the drug to open our mind would make fixing that child's play. And the next time that something comes from Max, Rosa, Papi, any of them, don't you want to destroy it?
Yes!
Then stop gambling with their lives.
Embrace the power at our fingertips, and you will never fear death again.
Don't, Liz, it's too risky. Liz, where's Liz?
She
Why
shot
did you wake her
Max? Okay.
I'm here.
So when's the proposal? Like,
So you're telling me that you don't remember anything? I mean, isn't that a little odd
you
from
kidding
the
me?
Mindscape adventures?
if she really doesn't remember, then she didn't learn any lesson. And so that was pointless. So I don't know why she would lie to Heath.
I think it's time I figure out how to get the three of them out of that sinkhole.
Yeah.
Any ideas where to start?
I got a few theories.
Me
Can we
too.
start mapping them out, please?
What you do need is to relax by a warm fire with a glass of Merlot and the cowboy of your dreams that you don't remember.
All right, cat the wine, cowboy.
There's no chance that that's scientist Liz, right? Like we're okay with that? Yeah. Okay. All right.
Don't give up, Liz.
I don't want to gamble anymore.
You made the right choice.
So I think it's both. But again, if she doesn't fully remember, I'm not sure how this has advanced Liz. So she has not rejected the 100% it's all about science regardless of anything else mindset. That's not all of who Liz, that like it's the both of them. How? So okay, I guess getting out of the mindscape was you have to stop fighting. And so either that is then what it seems to be she did of embracing both parts of herself, which who knows how that'll turn out, or one has to win over the other.
It doesn't, because people are diverse,
Yes, but
multifaceted.
but Liz is basically exactly where she was before, with this war inside herself, which we've now seen an entire episode be played out of in metaphor,
of
what she ultimately chooses to do. We don't know. She doesn't know. There's been no progress if she doesn't remember it. And if she didn't choose, even if she remembered the entire thing, she didn't choose.
In the mindscape.
She chose to not choose.
No, she chose to stop fighting.
She hasn't made a decision, though, about what to do with her current circumstance. So, the story has not progressed.
What are you talking about? What current circumstance?
Whatever Shivani wants her to do with the knowledge that she now, I guess, I don't know if she's still powered up, but...
Ooh, Shivani's powered up or Liz is
both.
Powered up?
I don't know. I don't know if they are.
But we are not seeing Liz gravitating toward a whiteboard.
We will. She hasn't let that go.
I think it's that Liz has accepted both sides of herself.
But that hasn't helped her make a decision about what to do. Like, yeah, Liz is always going to be a scientist. It's not like she rejects that part of herself completely. It's the part of her that would choose science over everything.
You can stop fighting and accept both sides of yourself and find a equilibrium.
It's always going to be a balance, and she's always going to have those choices.
That's what she has decided. That's what she chose instead of one or the other.
But this doesn't help her.
It helps, I think so. Previously, she thought she had to be either or. And now
I don't think that this is a healthy outcome for Liz.
I'm hoping it is. I don't know because of the way it ended.
Right. I don't know why they took an entire episode. I mean, and Liz is the main character. And this decision for Max, for her as a scientist, like that's a big part of her. It's a big part of the show. And I don't know if I just don't love the way that they did it, or with everything else going on, did we need an entire episode for this internal questioning? I do hope that we see Shiri again, and since Shivani is still around, there's still a chance that could happen. I don't know how many episodes Shiri signed on for. I hope that we see her in more than a Mindscape. But that said, I loved her in this episode.
Yes.
She was probably pretty easily the best part of this episode.
I still think that the turmoil that Liz has recently been in,
yeah,
regarding herself,
yeah,
I'm hoping.
Do you feel like that's going to be resolved?
That this episode resolves that.
I am not as hopeful that has happened. I want it to happen. I don't think that this episode achieved that. My understanding of this episode is not that she has achieved like an understanding of herself and what she wants. I understand why you see it that way. That's not what I took from it.
Okay.
I did like that the Liz's looked different. Like, I mean, one had her hair pulled back, one had her hair just down, but it felt like more than that too. I think they did a good job, right? Yeah. with Janine, and just with the hair and makeup and costuming, and just she did a good job. They were different Liz's.
Mm-hmm.
What else can I say that I liked? Okay, here's another thing I didn't like. Everyone was very gung-ho, very crisis mode group meeting about Liz, and they should have been. Alex has gotten like 5% of that. Heath was like, upon finding, like, Heath traveled across the country for his friend Dallas, who is missing, that he, like, I mean, just, Heath has done more for Dallas than anyone has done for Alex.
Wait,
I mean, yeah, he just showed up, but like, what? They didn't jump in the hole. They went to the hole. They did not jump in it.
Which was our argument last week.
Yeah. So really, they found the hole. They have done nothing with it. And yes, this emergency with Liz came up. Yes, focus on that. Yes, I understand. I'm completely on board with focusing on the Liz emergency.
But
we're not treating Alex like an emergency.
About with Michael
and Maria at the end,
which
I'm glad.
He's like,
but like, can we show me a list of your ideas?
That's not the answer. You know, you just don't jump in a hole, and we're like,
disagree.
Why not?
Yeah. Like, this is not just a storyline choice. There's obviously some availability issue with the actor who plays Alex. I don't know if there was some reason he couldn't be there, or if for some reason he did not want to be in as many episodes. But this is not just the writers made this choice. So is Kyle supposed to be on his way back from Mexico during the time of this episode? Or was he staying in Mexico, driving around with Eduardo looking for Allie? I mean, he directed this episode, so I understand he's not in it. That's fine with me. I think he did well with the episode that he was given. I just don't like this episode. But like, if we had a longer season, maybe, or if we knew we were getting another season, maybe. But, like, we are pressed for time.
Yes.
And nothing else happened in this episode. I mean, I guess there's some possible Heath and Rosa, who knows, but other than that, I felt like they did a good job of incorporating the other characters into the mindscape. But I didn't need a full episode about Liz's internal drama. I'm not sure if that's going to be a popular opinion or unpopular opinion, but
it like I said, it was a filler, but
you don't have filler episodes in these shorter seasons.
Right? Was it needed? No, it wasn't needed.
I feel like I said I feel like there was just some person, some producer who was like latched on to a cowboy episode idea and just wouldn't let it go. Is it kind of weird that Liz's mindscape was a cowboy town? I thought that was not quite fitting for her. I mean, if you want to have a thematic episode, I get it. But that being what Liz, in the depths of her mind, would create, I don't know. Going forward, next episode or for the rest of the season or whatever, we have Liz, who is still very intrigued by, very drawn to the applications of this alien science. And Shivani, who wants her to use that knowledge. And Clyde, who wants to use Liz for something science-y. If Clyde still wants to do the alighting, would Liz necessarily say no? I'd like to see a focused effort to find Alex. And if that includes let's find Alex and Dallas and Bonnie, that's fine, because it includes finding Alex. I feel like Tesca could have a lot to say. Like, so we know Isabella's going to go to talk to Tesca, so hopefully that scene is in the next episode. Tesca would have lots of information if her brain has settled from I was made to believe one thing that wasn't true, but really I'm a good person, who has a history with Isabel. So, like, we could learn a ton there. Because Tesca knows where Alex is. Like, it doesn't seem like it would be that hard to get them out. Like, yeah, you'd have to go down there, find them, and then just bring them back up. Just go up through the hole or out through wherever else the cave lets out at. Who created that sandpit cave thing? Because it's obviously not entirely a naturally occurring structure. No, because it's not regular quicksand. So at least that entrance is alien. Is the whole thing alien? I don't know, because no one's looking into it. So I hope we get more information from Tesca. I hope we get more information from Clyde, or at least see what he's up to. And I hope there is a plan for Alex. Okay, well, we can only go up from here.
On to next week.
So.